All right, welcome to the first ever podcast for the YMCA Men's Floor Hockey League. Bush is right. You got the Bob Hartman here, and alongside me is Petar Lundstedt.
Hello.
I've got Jeremy Boner. Is that the right pronunciation?
No, it's Bonet.
Bonet, okay. And for those of you scoring at home, if you had the under on 15 seconds for the first dick reference, you won. And finishing out the crew this morning, or this evening, is Cannonball Kurt Brownell.
Howdy.
Howdy indeed. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about the recap of the last few games that we played Wednesday night, and you'll have to tune in for the next podcast for a preview of the following four. So just, what did you guys think about the action Wednesday night? I mean, what are some of your overall thoughts so far?
I think it was good. I think it was definitely, we've been talking a lot about the talent of this season, especially that it's going to be one of the best seasons that we've ever seen, simply with the amount of people that are coming back. But man, was it hot last night, guys. Oh my gosh, the stamina. It was too much for me.
No, we saw some goalies just drop to their knees. I mean,
Yeah.
the third game there, I think two goalies played the third period from their knees, almost exclusively.
But the other biggest thing that I saw is there's a lot of compositions of teams that they have some work to do. There's a lot of lineups that, there's players that weren't really meshing well. There's some teams that, have the answers in offense, but not necessarily in defense and vice versa. So I think it was a big learning week for a lot of teams going forward to try to figure out who's going to play where and how they're going to fit into the roles on those teams.
But I did love that everybody was playing like they did have the answers. It played like a week 9 game last night.
Yeah,
everyone was balls out, even the goalies on their knees. Although we'll talk about that later with these save percentages.
I hope we don't. Oh, the save percentage. Okay, you saved it with the save percentage.
Saved it with the save.
Yeah, they were some tough games, close games. All games decided by one except for the one blowout. And am I right in that there were no penalty minutes Wednesday night? There was one penalty minute.
Yeah, take it on me.
Oh.
I'm going to score a goal, and of course, Pat cheap shots me.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just shouting
Shots
it out
fired.
there.
Shots
Don't
fired.
call him Patrick. I'm saying,
Well,
don't call him Patrick.
Let's go right into that game then, Jeremy. Do you want to give us the stats, Mr. Jerbear?
Absolutely. Stats for game one. We're going to start with the away team. Also, before I just want to preface that with I was shocked at the number of adult men that don't understand the concept of home and away. So stats for game one. We're going to start it out with Pete Lundstedt. Got a game star with 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists. Andy Gavin did not play. Dan Gladbags, 0 goals, 1 assist. Ian Smith, big game, 2 goals, 1 assist.
Yeah, he did.
Istanbul, not Constantinople, 5 goals, 1 assist. Great rookie performance for him. Just shy of a game star because I couldn't slight Pat for taking out Pete Lundstedt. On the other end, home team, Tribe Called Quest, big game for Mike Furlano. Sorry, you got to expect it from him. The goals got to come from somewhere. 5 goals, 1 assist, and a game star. Sadly missing Jeff Burge, did not play last night. Prior engagements.
Healthy scratch.
Healthy scratch.
Mostly involving baby puke.
Yeah, John Strachan, a goal and assist. He's basically just continuing off of last season. It's just good for a point a game or two. Pat Kuzanow had a lady in the stands, finished with 4 goals and 0 assists.
Whoa.
One penalty minute.
Good point.
So he got the third game star of the game. Kurt Brownell, not too shabby either, 2 goals and 0 assists. Oh, I forgot the goalies. Kenton from game 1, 35 saves, 74 save percentage. Brett Siebert, 46 saves, 81% save percentage.
So a Tribe Called Quest edges out the Roots 12-11 on a controversial ending. Pete, do you want to take us into that?
Yeah, it was a great first game for us. Both teams were missing players. Obviously, Jeff Burge, a high second-round pick. He could easily be a first-round pick. Us losing our Kangaturn. Andy, he's obviously a long-lasting player. He could have been great out there. But I think being the first game of the night, it was really tough just because the heat really got to us. I know Kurt can be there right with me, but great game, great back-and-forth action, a lot of physicality. People were really pushing around. They wanted to get that first win of the season. Going into the late part of the game, it's close, 1-2 goals. We see a slapper by Austin, who I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I mean, Austin just amazed me, by the way. I mean, I am bullish on Austin.
Yeah, kid's got hands. Kid's definitely has hands. He has a slap shot. It was no goal because of too high stick, and then we end up losing 12-11.
He didn't amaze anyone who played with him in Winter Classic, though.
True.
I mean, we all knew
No.
coming in, this kid's scary. You know, you guys had that 3-goal rally there in the third.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference playing all veterans. We didn't get shaken by it, because that would shake a lesser team, and you probably could have taken us right then.
No, Mike seemed to play some smart playing toward the end, really stalling on the puck, even when there was more than just a minute left. We see a lot of guys in the league stall on the puck the last 10, 15, 20 seconds. But Mike was starting to play slow, take the air out of the puck or whatever the phrase in hockey is, 2 minutes in.
Yeah, well, Austin and I were definitely starting to move the puck around to get to the last minute, but yeah, he did a great job toward the end of the game.
Not trying to shit on anybody, but I'm a defensive stickler. And there's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
some
Jeremy the defensive stickler,
There's
Jer
some
Bear.
questionable moments in Austin where he was just kind of seemed to be in no man's land, leaving wide open somebody on the other side of the net. So I mean, obviously it's something that I feel he has the ability to address. It's a different. Takes some time to get used to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend the entire podcast talking about Austin, but I will say he amazed me in his potential. So there were a lot of opportunities he didn't finish, but he was in the right spot, and he has great hands. And in this league, half the battle is just stick handling. More than half the battle. 80-90% of the battle is stick handling. So he finishes a few more, because you put a couple of looks, Pete, right on his stick, and he wasn't able to finish them. And, the game could have easily been a 3-4 point goal win on your side.
Yeah, I think he definitely has a lot of potential. That's what I'm most excited for the season. I think you also have to look at a Tribe Called Quest, because we're talking, if Andy was there and Jeff Burge was there, this game wouldn't have been anything. I mean,
No.
Easily a Tribe Called Quest would have dominated the game. Our goalie had a rough night. We didn't help him out on defense, but a Tribe Called Quest is definitely a team
Well, did you call
that's
it
going
by
to
a
be attention.
point?
Yeah,
I think
I
you
did.
hit the nail on the head. So.
Yep.
Yeah, but a Tribe Called Quest though, yeah, they didn't have Jeff there. 2 assists. Two assists
Yep.
on 12 goals. That's
Not good.
That's not good. That is quite bad, actually. Meanwhile, the Roots, you guys already are showing chemistry with 8 assists on your 11 goals. I mean, 74% of your goals were assisted. 73% of your goals.
It's definitely a positive. I mean, I know Jeremy Boner definitely sent a couple assists my way when I kind of tried to pull the Paul Paradigm wave at him, because I got that assist. But yeah, it was definitely a good night. I mean, we had some chemistry. We were moving the puck around, but you're not going to be able to double team us, which offensively is great. Defensively, we got to figure something out.
You guys took all our assists. We have.
Yeah, I know.
You chose to take.
You don't deserve it.
It was probably the stat keeper's fault.
I also had an uncredited assist in that game too.
It's true. It's true.
So, Jeremy, I disagree with one of the game stars. I would give it to Brett over Pat Cousineau. Not that Pat had a bad game, nor am I doubting the fact that he had a lady in the stands. But Brett, I think, kept a Tribe Called Quest in it when he.
I'm in concurrence with that. Actually, I told Brett he got a game star.
Well, you
After. I mean, I have no relevance.
See, when I was going through the game, I thought John was playing awesome. I thought Mike was playing awesome. Obviously, me and
Obviously
Austin.
me.
Of
The
course, come
humility
on.
is here
Hello.
in the circle of jerks.
On the offensive side, we were definitely there. But Patrick, to me, when I was playing the game, I had no idea that he had 4 goals.
So you,
No
so you
idea.
agree with the stat keeper's 3 stars, or who's your 3 stars?
I had Pat, myself, and for Lano, I wanted to put Austin in there, but I had 3 extra points. So
There you go. All right, Jer Bear, want to take us to game 2?
Game 2, Wu-Tang Clan versus the NWA. OT winner, Joe Gant from John Chatterton. Starting off with the stats, Joe Gant, 8 goals, 2 assists, and a game star. OT winner. Not really much else to say about that. John Chatterton, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. Second game star for the winning team. We had Kyle Antlers with 2 goals, 1 assist. Bob Hartman, 2 goals, 0 assists. Steve Kazmark blanked. Alex Packard, 43 saves, 77%. Down to the other side, Mike, I'll do it all by myself. Bryant, 9 goals, 0 assists. Mike Sturgis, 1 goal, 0 assists. Steve Newberry, 2 goals, 0 assists. Jamie Habits Rother-Rooter, 1 goal, 1 assist. Dave Foss ended it out with 0 goals and an assist. Ryan Kunko, 70% save percentage and 32 saves.
wait. Can you say that last stat one more time, please?
Yeah.
32 saves, 70%
Wow.
save percentage, lowest of the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lowest of the night, Conco.
He is a C student.
70%. 70%. That was the
C
thing that
minus, bordering on
blew
C+.
my mind. I mean, Bob, you had 2 goals last night.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm not going to score 2 goals in any goalie who's on their game. All right, not to call out Conco, but Conco's one of the best goalies in the league, and he just, I don't.
What do
know
we
if
think
he-
it is? What was the reason that he played so poorly last
Probably
night?
Schmegs.
Joe Gant, I think, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started, but I would love to see the. That was Jeremy eating a kettle cooked chip, in case you're wondering what that static was.
Yeah, it's not static.
But I'd love to see Joe's scoring percentage against goalies, because I just feel like he has one of the most accurate shots that, he's not underrated, obviously. He won MVP, but I don't think people talk enough about he not only makes space for a shot and controls the tempo, but he's accurate.
Yeah. He's dead on accurate with his shots. And, I mean, Conco did play awful last night. I don't think the defense in front of him helped that much. Ultimately, NWA is a shooting team. They're just going to shoot. I wonder, we were talking about earlier, what is it going to be like with Sturgis and Bryant in the lineup? Are they going to be able to mesh?
I feel they have 2 opposite play styles, where Mike Bryant likes to fire the puck down, and his team has to crash and try to get those rebounds, where Mike Sturgis likes to get open and look for that one-timer shot, which I'm sure Mike Bryant can set that up, but it's going to be a drastic change on his play style to try to incorporate Mike Sturgis more to make that work.
I think Sturgis
He's
is
got the
versatile
same
enough,
thing
though.
with Steve and Jamie, though. I mean, those are 2 other guys that thrive on getting those passes, or even better yet, like Jamie especially can make something happen with rebounds.
To me, I think they have the deepest lineup in the league. I mean, you're talking about Newberry, you're talking about Jamie, and you're talking about Foes, who is, I think, underrated for a
They're
fifth-round
all
pick.
veterans.
They can all definitely score, but I wonder how it's going to mesh for the entire year, and that's the biggest thing that makes me worried about this team.
When you talk about how deep they are, though, it's not just that they can score, but they're all relatively versatile. None of those guys, except for maybe Mike Bryant, would you pigeonhole into one style of play.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you know what? I agree a little bit, Jeremy, that Mike Sturgis has thrived on kind of hanging out between mid-court and the three-point line and ripping shots there. But I think he's got the hockey IQ and he's got the hands to really make anything work. So I think these guys, I think they're going to make it work. And they had us on the ropes. Don't forget,
True,
they
true.
had a 3 or 4 goal lead on us before Joe Gant decided to just go off and score 3 goals by himself in like 25 seconds.
Yeah, he's kind of good.
Yeah, he is kind of good.
Sturgis was the flashiest dresser, though. I mean, he looked like a hip hop star last night.
You know what? That is true.
Either that or he was in a Thriller video.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my
need the
3
gold
stars. I had my 3 stars as Joe Bryant. I put Chatter in there just because he had 5. But obviously the 2 stars, Joe and Bryant, really coming out hot.
Yeah, no disagreement on the 3 stars there. I will say that Alex Packard had an amazing third period.
He did. You guys were down. You guys were down by 4 goals, and you came back and outscored 11-7 in the second and third period.
Look at
That's huge.
21 saves, man. They kept going up and up and up.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention the miracle save that Alex and Joe Gant made together. 2 of them. But one of them, as time expiring, that puck was just bouncing around. Joe puts his stick up against Alex's pads as it's like on the line. It was almost more exciting than the beautiful game winner that John just fed Joe with a great pass. No idea how it got there, and Joe just ripped it.
That was definitely a good touch. Bad touch.
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, that's what 2-on-2 hockey is. That's what I love about it. I do have to say, as much as we battle Brian and say that he's just a shooter, he had the best goal of the night easily. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he broke through everyone. He was on one-on-one with, I believe, Joe Gant in down low, deked right through Alex and through the 5-hole. It was a beautiful goal.
Well,
It
and
took
let's
him
not
to the game.
forget, Mike Bryan also complimented every other player on the team for the goals they got. So there's something to be said for that.
He was leading the nice guy of the
nice
night.
guy.
All right, for the sake of time, Jer Bear, let's go to the third game.
Game 3, it's a game I'd really like to forget. Public Enemy, 19. The Sugar Hill Gang, 9.
Oh, let me interrupt you, Jeremy. I don't think we ever actually said the final score for the previous game. It was 14-13 Wu-Tang Clan.
Overtime.
Yeah. So starting out with Public Enemy, Chris Lally, 2-2. Chris Enright, 8-0 with a game star. Tim Anderson, 5-0 with a second game star. Shane Humphrey, 3-0. Matt Galuli, or Ferngoli, 1-1. Bill Riley, 48 saves, 84% save percentage. On the opposite side for the Sugar Hill Gang, Gianni
Tied
Jones,
for highest of the night, right?
4-2 with a game star. Kevin Baldwin, 1-1. Jeremy Bonet, 3 goals, no assists. Kevin Parker, 1-0. And subbing in net for us, Kenton Sawad, 48 saves, 72% save percentage.
And no Dave King.
Yeah, Dave
No,
King
Dave
did
King.
not play. Kenton subbing in for Steve Schultz.
Jeremy, you didn't get a game star in that one?
No.
19-9, only blowout of the night. And you know what? I don't know how much I can even say about this game. It just it was ugly,
It was awful.
but it was also just unraveled. Like I don't think we can deduce too much from watching that action because I don't know if this is the real team either.
Either of them. Yeah, I think both of them had. I think you guys had some brilliant flashes for sure, and I'm talking about Sugar Hill Gang. I'm sorry, you guys can't see me pointing at Jeremy, but I think Sugar Hill really started off nice. You know, Gianni was making some great passes to Boner down low, tipping it in. Made some great plays. But Public Enemy was just shooting. And once again, Kenton's playing his second game after cooling off for an hour. What are you going to do?
And you know, let's call a spade a spade. Kenton didn't have a good night.
No.
You know, Kenton was obviously frustrated. He was obviously tired. I don't know if there was an injury or if he was just exhausted or if it was the heat or whatever, but he was standing straight upright. It looked like he almost gave up. And honestly, I think his team gave up on him, you know, and it looked like the body language just looked like they just gave up. And honestly, the body language of Public Enemy didn't even look like they wanted to win. Like not that they didn't want to win, but they almost like were kind of just dicking around in the last couple periods. Like all right, yeah, I'm going to keep playing hard because you know stats matter, but
And
these
you
guys
look
aren't
at
even
the
giving us a run.
defense too. You look at the defense of Sugar Hill Gang. I mean, Johnny, I'm right with you that I think he's a great defensive player. Same thing with Kevin. Obviously, back-to-back defenseman of the year. This guy also needs to be a top 2 scorer. Kevin needs to be a top 2 scorer, and 1-1 is just not going to do it.
I'm really surprised at Kevin Baldwin's score. I was roughing that game, and he was all over the place that night. But maybe the fact that he was, you know, horizontal, doing his defensive thing, is
Just
what I noticed most.
just from an insight on playing the game, just beforehand we were talking with some of the guys, and we had some strategies that we wanted to implement, and then we got a couple goals early just on a run and gun style, and nobody on my team deserves or has any business playing run and gun, so we kind of burnt ourselves out after a period or two with being short a sub. Every time somebody looked for a sub, it was 2 people looking for a sub.
Yeah.
So everybody was gassed by the middle of the second period, and then like when you're down big, it's
A hot night that can't be underestimated. I mean, I know in my game we had 2 subs, and even then there were a couple of times where we looked to the bench. At one time I tried to sub myself out, and my team said no, stay out there, which is never good for your 4th round pick to be like no, stay out there.
Right, but then, then you look on the other side of the coin where you have Public Enemy who's scoring a lot. Obviously, Chris Enright was actually injured from a basketball injury. Didn't slow his game down with 8 goals. The only problem that I saw is Chris and Tim had 13 goals together. 13 goals together, they would have beat the team by themselves. No assists. No assists. That is not going to work against another goal.
3 assists on 19 goals total.
Not going to work.
And you know what the big sub story, not the big story. That's the big story what you just said, Pete. But the sub story to that is Enright, who's been top in the assists category for the last couple of seasons. No assists, just like you said. I mean, Enright alone having no assists, is that a trend, or can we not take too much from this game because they weren't passing? They didn't look like they had to try that hard for their goals.
No, I don't think we can take much of anything from either of these two
They
teams.
were throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what stuck, and it stuck every time. They were just ripping every shot and it stuck.
I feel like some of their passes just went into the net.
Yeah. It was just one of those games.
It's one of those
It's a game that I'm sure Sugar Hill Gang wants to forget about, and on that note, we can move on from it. Before we move on,
One other thing, Shane and Matt were both solid on every single one of Gianni's free shots, so I think that was a big.
Yeah, Shane getting 3
That's
goals.
true.
I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
We have
true.
to put a note out there for
But
him.
but I'm just saying the way they stonewalled him off the freeze. I mean that they took away one of your crucial weapons there, Jeremy.
and before we move on from that, you're right. I was panicked the first couple minutes in the game when Sugar Hill Gang had 2 or 3 goals right off the bat. 1st couple of minutes, I'm thinking these guys are gonna make me look like a moron because I said they were gonna have a hard time finding a scoring touch, and they were scoring 2, 3 goals right off the bat. But, Jeremy, like you said, maybe it was fatigue, maybe it was something else. Or maybe it was Galuli and Shane just shutting down
Shane
the
was a
job.
monster out there, man,
Yeah.
stopping those shots.
But the entire night, though, we didn't see many goals scored off the freeze. I mean, you're talking Paradigm. I mean, we'll get into his game right next, but there were not a lot of goals scored off the freeze.
It
So.
was definitely an anomalous night because I scored one off the freeze.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Kurt scores one off
He's
the
a
freeze.
crap.
I scored 2. This was a weird night, guys.
Yes,
Weird night.
I don't have any disagreement with your 3 stars. Pete, do you?
No, I'm the same way.
Kurt?
Good, sound good to me.
All right. Moving to the nightcap. Furious 5 and Run DMC. Whose house was it, Jeremy?
Was Run's house. Looking at the stats.
Whose house?
Come on, I set you up.
Sorry.
He nailed it.
Nailed it.
Well, I don't know. It's like,
So starting with Furious 5, since they were away, Paul Paradine, 6 goals, 1 assist.
One.
Conco's handwriting's fucking awful.
yeah, and that 1 assist was trying to be a goal.
Yeah.
Jesse Trado, 3 goals, no assists. Brad Burr, 0 goals, 0 assists. Gaffey Sato, 2 goals, 1 assist. Pete Skidmarks blanked.
Which there's definitely an
He
error
did
there.
not.
He had
He
a
did not. He
sweet
definitely had a
one-timer.
goal.
The official stats have zeros. We'll see if we can correct that.
Yeah, I'll fix that. Sorry,
We
Skidmark.
got you, Pete, we got you.
Tim Scott, 49 saves, 82%. Save percentage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
that's fuzzy
80%.
math. It's 80% Conco handwriting.
Fucking Conco. Oh, he had an assist, though, too.
He did have an assist.
Yeah, he did.
All right, the other team, I'm trying to think of, it's the Run DMC.
Yeah.
It's not written here.
Whose house?
Zach Davis, 5 goals, no assists. Jerry Wagner, 1 goal, no assists. Brian D'Angelo, 5 goals, 2 assists. Chris Lally, 0 and 1.
That's Chris Masakowski.
Oh, Chris Masakism, 0 goals, 1 assist. And then Rob with 1 goal, and it looks like there's an assist.
One
Yeah, there's 1
Yeah.
assist.
Yeah, it's just not written down. Fucking Conco. Man. And then John Ramsey, 56 saves, 84% save
84%.
84%
Yes.
for Ramsey. Yeah, he's tied-
Ramsey!
Tied for the
Nice
night high.
job, Ramsey.
Bill
was
Rylick
fun
and
to
John
watch.
Ramsey have your highest save percentage of the night at 84%.
And he was the one that won the game. I mean, their defense was crap. Ramsey won the game easily.
Oh, yeah. Look, Jeremy, what are your 3 game stars?
3 game stars. Now I feel like an idiot after you guys talking like that. I have Paul Paradine, Zach Davis, and Brian D'Angelo as my third.
I wouldn't feel like an idiot because it was tough. I have Ramsey as one of mine, but we can.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, Pete, did Brian D'Angelo wake you up a little bit there?
See, that's the crazy part about it is I was looking at the game and I was watching the game the entire time and I'm like, you know what? I'm not impressed by Brian. Why is there so much hype about him? He was a low second round pick. In my mock draft, I had him going high second round, but I wasn't impressed with him. Bob hyped him up big, but then I look at the stat sheet and this guy's got 5 goals and 2 assists, and I'm like, what's going on? I was like, it wasn't fancy and everything like that, but maybe that's just it. He just scores.
The other team didn't see it happen either. So that's how
Well,
it goes.
the thing with Brian is, you're right. You don't notice him, which is why he thrives with a key number 1. He only plays well with a key number 1 like Zach. When they had the season, what was it, the Irish or whoever, when he got traded, it was him and Tim Anderson. It was terrible. I mean, and okay, I'll say it right now for the disclaimer. I recommended the trade. I was wrong. I'll say it
I was on
again.
that team, and
I was
painfully
wrong.
lived through it.
Right, but you just mentioned that he thrives with the number 1. Zach had 0 assists. They had 4 assists overall, so the assists are coming from Chris Masakowski and Rob Masson.
It's just coming from the opportunities. Brian needs space. If you give Brian space, he will score on you. And so you have to give him space. You got rebounds, and you got people that are cheating Zach's way. Even when Zach doesn't have the puck, you got guys that are disproportionately cheating his way. That being said, Run DMC scares me. Because when is the last time you saw anybody on Zach's team beat him in points in the same night? I mean, you got
remember
Zach
last time.
fucking Davis on a team, and you got his number 2 with more points than him, the same amount of goals and 2 assists. That terrifies me.
It's dangerous, but once again, I mean, we got to look at Ramsey. I'm really stoked for him. He had a great night. Is he going to have this type of night throughout the season?
No, you're right. Ramsey won the game, Finn. If Ramsey did not have one of the best nights I've seen him play in a long time, then they lose.
I agree. That was incredibly
But-
well done by Ramsey.
Once again, we're looking at the flip side again. Looking at Furious 5, we got most of the team returning from the championship, the almost championship
Runner-ups.
team. The runner-ups, there you go. The 12-1 team from last year. coming to this season, obviously a lot of hype, fall just short.
You know, and they fell short, but they didn't look like they gelled to me. So there was all this talk about the Quebecers are back with just 2, small changes, or and a new goalie or whatever. That they're going to pick right up where they left off, or this was the chemistry of a team, the makeup of a team. They didn't look like they were on the same team. If anyone, I mean, everyone is going to expect in week 1 that you're going to have to figure out the chemistry. But they look like they need to figure out the most after, of course, Sugar Hill
Yeah,
Gang.
I
But
think it's the Paul and Jesse thing is. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know if
only
they're
reason-
too similar or too different. I can't quite.
that's a good point. Are they too similar or too different?
That's a great point. 'Cause Paul loves to do, obviously, things on his own, but Jesse's the same way. Jesse always wants to make that move that's going to impress someone. That's really the way he thrives. And, I mean, he had some great goals tonight. He put 3 in the net.
He also does, usually 5 fancy moves in a play, and then the 5th one he gets burnt sometimes. And it's, that's where I'm thinking maybe if their assist totals came up.
Yeah, two assists. 2 assists on 11 goals. I mean, how many times tonight am I going to talk about how low the assists were? I mean, only the Roots.
Hey.
The Roots were the only team that looked like they meshed together. Now, again, it's week 1. You can't expect to be on the same page right away. But, man, 2 assists on 11 goals?
I think it's, but once again, I think it's going to be that type of season. Obviously, all of the talent is just so far superior to what I've ever seen. I mean, granted, I'm 3 seasons in, but the talent is going to be so much higher. The defense is going to be so much higher. I mean, we're talking about 11, 12 goals throughout the games besides the one blowout. So goal scoring, I think, is going to be down this year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be just in that short double-digit range because everyone's hustling. Everyone's trying to make that big play and win the game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Zach's words are still ringing true in everyone's ears about defense.
Yeah, from last season.
Which is kind of funny because I do have to point
It's
out
last
that I
spring.
think Run DMC didn't play the best defense.
And
I mean, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but my eyeball test says they were out of position quite a few times, and they probably had the second worst defense of the night, in terms of what I watched.
absolutely. But I do have to say one thing. We always joke about Zach not playing at 100%. This guy played at 100%
Oh, yeah.
last night.
Oh, he wanted
to
it.
win.
He wanted it.
to win.
Yeah.
He wants Tim to know this is the reason why you didn't
Him
pick me.
and Paul going against each other, and it's like King Kong versus Godzilla, man. It was
It's great.
fun to watch.
Great game, easily the best game of the night.
So I gotta.
I concur.
I got to give Ramsey one of my game stars, and unfortunately, I got to take it from Zach. I feel like he impacted the game more than what the stats say, but I have a hard time taking it from Paul because he single-handedly kept his team in it. And Brian,
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I still have to give it to Zach because obviously he had 5 goals and with his teammate Brian, I mean they had 10 of their 12 goals. So I still have to give it to Zach, but it's tough for me because Ramsey did have a career night, one of the best games I've ever seen him play. We saw this a lot from Alex last year where he was the big comeback player of the year. Is this Ramsey's year?
Let's give the star to Ramsey, man. Zach's got constellations on his outfit, man.
so the charity star coming from Kurt is going to John Ramsey.
Congratulations, John. Nice
Yeah.
work.
I hope you feel
Nice
good
work.
about that because apparently you win it
I don't know
because
if
Zach
you're one
has
of the
too
guys that
many.
spend all the time
Oh,
on their
boy.
knees, but,
Oh, jeez. All right. 3 stars of the week. What do you got, Jeremy?
Going back to 3 stars a week, I gotta give 1 to Joe Gant with the OT winner. So that's first star of the week will go there. Mike Bryant with 9 goals. That's got to be a second game star with that matchup, and then third game star or third star of the week, I would say. Enright 8-0.
Kurt?
I concur. I still, I was really impressed with Ramsey. I mean, this guy, this is his, second season as a goalie?
Second or third?
At least 3 because he was
He
in that.
stepped it up big time. I mean, he had the
But who would you take him out? I mean, would you take it for
I'm
Enright?
just saying, I'm talking about on the sheer value that added to the team. I mean, he was stopping some heavy-duty firepower.
Right, but we're talking about 3 stars of the week.
Yeah, I'm there
So-
with, I'm with Ramsey. I felt that I was
So who you
watching.
take it
So
from?
who would you
it from
take
Enright?
off?
Oh, yeah. From Enright?
Yeah, and so you got
Sure.
You can't take it.
Just to hear him bitch about it.
You know, my 3 stars are Joe Gant, Mike Bryan, and Chris Enright. I want to give it to Ramsey, but and 84% was the highest of the night, but it's still 84%.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
you
right
gotta
with you
you
guys.
gotta break 90% to get a weak star.
Yeah, it was an awful night for the goalies overall. I mean, 84% is the hot for the night. I mean, we were talking just in the fall, most of the guys were at 89, 90%. It was a
You
bad
have a
night
higher
for the goalies.
talent pool this season, though. So
True,
Getting
absolutely.
better quality shots.
We are rapidly approaching a half hour on the podcast that we were hoping would keep to 10 minutes, so let's wrap it up with a couple of awards on the week. The Broken Face of the Week award, sponsored by Wegmans Frozen Peas, goes to
My teammate Dan Gladding, 2 pucks in the face, blood on both shots, had to take a leave of absence, but he still came back out both times.
Tough as leather.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy,
He put super glue on it this morning. Oh, excuse me.
His
wife
face
put
looks a
super-
lot like leather.
I mean, he gets hit in the face by a Mike Furlano shot, and he goes out immediately. His next play, his next shift back on the ice or on the floor, he dives in front of a puck.
Yeah.
He doesn't get hit that play. He gets hit later when he's standing upright and gets starts bleeding everywhere again. But man,
Yeah.
Yep, took it like a champ.
Then my final one is the proactive breakout performance of the week. I got to give it to John Ramsey.
John Ramsey.
Once again, this guy was out of his mind this week. You know, I know that you're looking at a game star, but I couldn't give him
I'll give him that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think that's-
good.
The proactive breakout.
proactive breakout.
That
player of
sounds
the-
like an acne medication, really.
Yeah,
It is.
can't get anything past this guy.
This guy's got it. We can't
All
go
right, best play of the. What do you guys think? Best play of the week.
The defensive stop by Joe and Alex.
See, I'm going with Joe, but I'm going with the overtime winner.
I can see that. I mean, it was great. It was a great goal, obviously, but I think that goal could have come in so many ways. The fact of the matter is that goal would not have happened if you didn't make that defensive play.
And since we are old school rap right now, who had the most swagger on the floor Wednesday night?
I think you got to go with Sturgis.
Yeah, he had a lot of swagger.
He had some swagger. Joe Gann's hair looked really nice last night.
I got photos of Joe Gant's hair just so we have it for posterity. 'Cause someday
I don't
we're
want his
gonna
face.
look
I just want his hair.
back- That's all I got. I just stood behind him.
We
and took
are
photos of his
unraveling
hair.
quickly. So, with that, I will say thank you for joining us for the first ever podcast for the YMCA Men's Floor Hockey League. And stay tuned for the next one where we do the preview of the next week's games.
Yeah, let us know what you think of this and whether it sucks. If it gets you in trouble at work, even better.
Give us feedback in the comments or, again, tie it to a rock and throw it through Peter's window.
And thank you for listening to Circle of Jerks.
Circle of Jerks.